Did you know that a hippo's milk is pink? And that anatidaephobia is a fear that somewhere, somehow, a duck is watching you. Those things are pretty weird. But you know what's even weirder than that? These 10 Switch games. As much as I love the eShop and I found many gems hidden amongst the rough, that rough seems to be getting rougher and rougher as we go along. Become the victim of a lot of terrible mobile style games just being thrown onto the system. But these games, the ones I've plucked out of the eShop for this video, they're just, well, they're weird. A game that's weird in pretty much every aspect. No Thing. No Thing makes me feel apprehensively uncomfortable due to the mix of creepy and distressing robotic voices that guide you through this harrowing adventure that has ever-present and strange large floating heads that I can only assume are our new tormenting overlords who seem to take pleasure in making us run around and around, constantly looping courses that keep getting faster and faster, piquing my horrid anxiety until I become a deluded, quivering mess of nothingness. It's pretty fun though once you get the hang of it. The game constantly propels you forward as you race around these levels. All you need to do is time your turns. All the while, the robotic overlords throw random lines of dialogue at you like, "The air went bad. I have the same. Look at your face. I know what you did. And you are simple message." There are more lines just like this, and they're not just random in what they are. They're delivered to you at random times. There seems to be no sense of reasoning as to what they say or when they say it, and I find that very unsettling. More floating heads appear over time, as well as floating limbs. People that stand right in your way, but you can go through them, so I can only assume they're spooky ghosts. Then eventually you get to large, full-bodied floating humans that move very uncomfortably slow backwards, and eventually the game just becomes a mess, not unlike the nightmares and fever dreams I have at night after playing this game. The next weird game is Cluster Truck. In this game, there are swarms of trucks racing down a set track, bumping into each other, crashing, flipping, and generally creating carnage and mayhem. It is your goal to stay on top of these trucks, bouncing from roof to roof until you hit a finish line. It's an interesting and weird concept, but it's actually kind of fun. I can't imagine what this indie team's briefing room would have looked like when they were coming up with a concept for a game. A game that features a lot of trucks, and that's about it, was what they ended up going with. I'd like to see what other ideas or options they had open to them. It is actually quite addicting though, as much as it is incredibly frustrating at times. The trucks act so sporadically due to the game's physics-based nature that every time you start a new instance, the trucks could behave in very different ways. They can bash into each other one way one time, and the next time they don't do anything. They just keep going straight until they hit a bump, and then they're flipping all over that way. So the frustration comes in where a lot of it is obviously timing based and trying to get better at jumping from here to here, and you can't practice an exact level. You can't get good at an exact instance because you die in one place one time and you start again, it's gonna be different the next time. And trust me, it's really easy to fall off these trucks, so that does get frustrating. Hey, weird concept, weird level design, but I can't argue with the weird amount of fun you can have with this game. Now, as you're starting to see with this list, we have different reasons for a game being weird. The first game was just weird in every sense of the word, a classic weird. The second game had a weird concept, but ultimately isn't a bad game. This game is weird because I don't understand why it's on the Switch or who would buy it. Bingo! For Nintendo Switch. You know the thing your grandma goes to play on the weekends, tries to hit those lucky numbers so she can win a prize? Well, now you can do that on your Switch, except there's no prizes and you have to pay for it. That's weird. I wouldn't do that. I haven't done that. Granted, the Switch's portable mode does lend to something like this if you want to whack it out at a party. A very exhilarating party. If you're at the point where you have your Switch on the table and you're playing bingo with your friends, you might want to reevaluate your party plans. There's a few different modes of bingo you can play, as well as the classic mode. I just don't get why you would pay $8 to play a randomly generated numerical luck-based game. But honestly, despite everything I just said about it, it would have made it onto the list purely for the tagline it has in the eShop. Play bingo for Nintendo Switch and get excited by everyone. That's a bit weird. Probably could have done without that. Next we have a game that I didn't get too far into, and that's North. North aims to make you feel like an outsider in a hostile environment. More specifically though, it wants you to somewhat experience what it's like to be an immigrant in a new country, the kind of struggles you face and the feeling of being an outsider. And while on some very, very small level I could relate to something like that and I could pick up on some of the symbolisms playing a game that aimed to do that, unfortunately this game didn't hit any of those marks. It didn't do any of that at all. It just ended up being very weird. In fact, in my opinion, the only thing it got right in the sense of what it set out to do was that sense of confusion. When you go to a new place and you're just kind of confused by everything, that's what it's like when you're playing this game. You're just confused by everything. Where am I now? Where do I go? What do I do? How did I get to this place? Why can't I see where I'm supposed to go? What is this game even about? These are all questions I found myself asking about 2 minutes into playing the game. I get this is supposed to be the confusion of a new land, but we are people, right? No matter where you go in the world, we're all people. We all look the same. So why are the people in this game aliens? New person, new place, you're confused by your surroundings, but when I came to America for the first time, I didn't look at people and go, aliens! They just kind of look like people. Kind of very look like people. So, what the frick are these things? Why are they standing in the shadows all creepy like? Why are they standing together in masses and not moving at all? It's just a really weird game, man, and it freaked me out. It immediately made me feel uncomfortable. The next game we have is called A Normal Lost Phone. Anyone seen my phone? Have you ever lost your phone and freaked out wondering who has it and if they're reading your messages or accessing your bank accounts? You know that horrible feeling of dread wondering if your entire life is about to fall apart due to the actions of some stranger out there in the world who found your phone and realized you're still logged into your YouTube account and uploaded a 10-minute video of their junk? Well, now you can pay to experience an interactive version of that on your Switch. A Normal Lost Phone has you finding a lost phone. You play the game as if you are on that phone, reading the messages and trying to figure out more about the owner of the phone, Sam. So you know exactly what you shouldn't do when you find a phone. That's what you do in this game. Completely destroy this person's privacy. You dig deeper and deeper into their life and learn more about this character and his teenage life. Again, if 18-year-old me lost my phone, the thought of someone reading that cringy crap that I had on my phone back then, would just about make me go even more emo than I already was. I would recommend playing this game on mobile. It actually lends pretty well to being on mobile. It makes you feel like you've found someone else's phone, and the game's really creative. I love its concept, and if you enjoy reading, which is what this entire game is, this might actually be a game I would recommend picking up. It's just a very weird concept for a game that worked out pretty well, but it does weird me out at the thought of going through someone else's phone or having my phone gone through. I don't like that. If I lose my phone at a con and you find it, just throw it away, burn it or something. This one is so stupid that I'm actually going to show you that it exists just so you believe me. Spot the Difference is now on your Nintendo Switch. I mean, come on, Nintendo. We need just a little bit of filtering here, a little bit of that Nintendo quality seal of approval you used to stamp on every single game you put out. Don't let some things through to the eShop. It just kind of makes the entire eShop look bad. Spot the difference, man. Spot the difference. I feel like I don't even have to talk about this one, but let's go ahead. This is starting to get a little bit too mobile-y now. A Spot the Difference game. After 10 minutes of playing this exhilarating thrill ride of tacky overlay graphics, incredibly easy puzzles, and immediate buyer's remorse, you start to loop pictures and the differences are no different the second time you see them, so after 10 minutes, you're done. I mean, you can keep going, you can keep finding the same differences, so for the low price of $10, you can spot differences for 10 minutes and then keep on going if you want to spot those same differences. Nintendo Switch eShop, everybody. It's getting harder and harder to make worth it videos. No, I didn't buy that one. I ain't gonna. Super Ola and the Lost Burgers. In this endless runner game, you play as a skateboarding llama who aims to save the world's burger supply from the hands of evil hot dogs from outer space. Should I continue? A very weird story to go with that weird title, but again, I like it so far. You got this guy, you got this thing, you have these memes, you have this shoop-de-whoop face, and when the llama isn't making that shoop-de-whoop face, he's staring directly into the camera and straight into my soul. It's kind of weird though that he runs like this. Also, you get to beat up a car like in Street Fighter, so, I mean, that's pretty cool. Okay, this game's very obviously supposed to be weird, but still. My mom hid my video game. Well, she didn't really, that's just the name of the next game. I covered this game once before and I recommended staying away from it, and I still do. It's a point and click puzzle game, it's not very fun, and there is just so many strange moments to be had. So many strange moments. This old guy especially gives me the heebie-jeebies. Also, I'm pretty sure that this house is the one that that guy in the 90s kept singing about.
Blew his house with the blue little window.
Oh, damn. So damn. So Damn is a pretty enjoyable puzzle game. It did really well in Japan, and initially it started as an arcade machine. That's about it. You're looking at the whole game, and this is everything it has to offer. There isn't anything more to it. This is literally it. But it's fun, and it gets really challenging. It's pretty to look at. Yeah, decent. So, what's weird about it, you might be asking? Well, it's $30 frickin' dollars! $30 frickin' dollars? I don't think so. $10 maybe. The quarter you used to use to put in the arcade machine to play this game would actually be a better price. But 30? You're shooting for the stars. And I don't know who agreed on that price, but I would be surprised if anyone's out there buying it. What kind of weird psychedelics were involved in this game being $30? I'd rather go out and buy WWE 2K18 again. I'm pretty sure that's dropped down to $30 in stores now. There is so much you can do with $30. There are so many great puzzle games on the Switch you can buy for $10 or $15. Even if this game came out in a Zelda skin and I hadn't seen it before and it was called Link's Puzzle Adventure, I still wouldn't, I would consider it, but I don't think I would pay 30. Heck, it makes me want to make a puzzle game just so I can charge 30 bucks for it. Wood's Puzzle Adventure. Fun for the whole family. Wood's Puzzle Adventure. Get excited by everyone. So here we are at the #1 spot. What's the weirdest game? What's the weirdest Nintendo Switch game? For so many reasons, it's the one that a few of you might have expected. 1-2 Switch. I don't know where to begin. It could be just the sheer amount of really weird individual mini games that came with their own really weird instructional videos, or just the fact that it's a Nintendo game that they made themselves and was a weird $60 at launch and does not want to come down in price. Let's just go to the weirdest thing. Let's forget about all of that and just talk about some of these mini games. Just some of the ridiculous mini games. One of my personal favorites being milking the cow. Slightly stroke an imaginary cow's udder and just pretend that milk is flowing out of it. It's weird. And this is a weird motion to be making as well. It's all weird. The shaving one upsets me. The shaving, because, okay, it's a little weird to sit there with your controller and rub it all over your face. The weirdest part of that is this game is built for 2 players. And then unless your friend is bringing their own Switch, you gotta hand your Joy-Con off to your friend. This was the immediate thing I thought of when I saw this mini game. So, all right, you've been playing some of the other games, you've been running around, you've been dancing, all the other weird mini games that there are to play. You're both sweaty. Your friend's maybe one of them guys who's prone to sweating a lot. And then you think, oh, let's play the shaving game. Here you go, Greg. Just rub that all over your face. Get the sweat into the crevices of my Joy-Con. And then later when I'm home playing my own games and I accidentally put it near my mouth, well, put my hands near my mouth after touching your sweat, I'm essentially drinking. It's weird. Maybe I thought too much about that one, but okay. I don't know, I'm a germaphobe a little bit. Talking on the phone looks a little bit weird. The show walking one, where you gotta do all of this. There's no way I'm doing that. Me and a bro having a couple drinks, doing the old shimmy shake with the... There's one I didn't even try where you're supposed to nurture a baby and the instructional video has you putting the switch in bed. But by far the weirdest one is the one where you gotta eat the subs, because not even the guy they paid to do the instructional video could make that look normal. I've done it. I played that game and you can't look normal, but the worst thing is you're trying really hard to open your mouth like wide and bring it back down so that the sensor can see that you're opening your mouth and bringing it back down. And what ends up happening, and I hate this feeling, it's a weird feeling of your teeth just smashing down on nothing while you pretend to eat a sub, and it doesn't necessarily hurt my jaw, but I can't stand the feeling. It makes me feel weird, and there's no way you can make it look not weird. I returned that game the day after I got it, and I've never looked back. Okay, that's my list of 10 really weird games. I thought this would be a fun video to make, and I honestly had a lot of fun making it. I've been yelling and screaming so much, my voice is getting a little sore. If you enjoyed this video, and for the sake of my sore voice from making it, please hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, because we become best friends when you do that. And leave a comment down below with what other weird games you found on the eShop, because there are a ton. Or let me know if you actually love any of these games. There were a few good ones in here, as weird as they were. As always, I want to thank the lovely Patreons for helping me do what I do here on this channel. Without them, we wouldn't be here today, and I mean that wholeheartedly. And without you guys, I also wouldn't be here today. I just thank you for watching my videos. And speaking of watching my videos, if you watched my last one, I just want to really quickly clarify that the thumbnail and the title was a joke. I've since changed the title because people didn't seem to be getting the joke. That Extra SNES Classic wasn't for me, it was for a friend, which was the joke of, oh, I already have one of these guys. Oh, stop sending me stuff I already have. You get it now. It was a funny, apparently not so funny joke. Most people got it, but I wanted to clarify that I am really appreciative of everything I'm sent. I just wasn't sent that. Funny, huh, right? All right, guys, hate to love you and leave you. That's what my granddad always says. Maybe I'll make that a thing. Actually, I kind of like that. Hate to love you and leave you, but I'm gonna.